US regulators may consider Ripple and Ethereum non-compliant securities. Goldman Sachs hires a lead cryptocurrency trader, yet denies that it's starting a trading desk. Stellar Lumens decentralized exchange explained in GIFs. Over-the-counter investment group Circle doubles its minimums as well as clears $100 million in revenue. Nano releases a new version and signals an integration with Ledger. Hong Kong and Singapore proved to be effective ICO havens. More details around the Key and their partnership with Ontology as well as the Chinese government. We've got all your headlines mixed with some daily market analysis. I'm Elio Trades and your FUD TV daily update starts now. Welcome back, FUD Nation. Diving in here on the total market caps, we can see that Bitcoin is holding a little bit. It's got a slight loss here, but we've been holding up here, just touching this $400 billion mark. This is going to be a big sort of hurdle for us as we start to continue this bull run. It's Monday, so we should be seeing a little bit more green. I would like to see a little more green than we're seeing, but obviously in the top 10, we got Bitcoin Cash is pulling the hardest. It's not a huge gaining day. There are some definite standouts here as we switch the biggest gainers and losers. Mixin, without a doubt, which is a high throughput encrypted end-to-end messaging service. They're having a huge pump. You can see this hockey stick sort of spike here at the end. Also, Bytem with a very nice spike. Centrality and Walton Chain. Nothing too insane here. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, Mixin with a 60% pump. That's pretty good. But besides those, we're not seeing anything too out of the ordinary. This is, again, just more sort of consolidation, a little bit of a pause on our bullish momentum. Hopefully this doesn't signal any kind of correction or turn back in the market. A lot of the experts seem to think that this is the beginning of the new alt season. So hopefully that is true, and hopefully we continue this momentum. There's not a ton more to report on these charts, so we're just going to hop over to some news now. And now we move to the news that both Ripple and Ethereum might fall under the category of non-compliant security offerings. These comments came from Gary Gensler, who's a former partner of Goldman Sachs and also a former US regulator. Gensler makes the argument that because Bitcoin was not created through an initial coin offering, it doesn't really meet the standards for a security. However, the fact that Ethereum and Ripple both were offered as ICOs means that there's a good case that they might be non-compliant securities. According to Gensler, 2018 is going to be a very interesting time. Over 1,000 previously issued ICOs and over 100 exchanges that offer ICOs are going to need to sort out how to come into compliance with US securities law. Now, as we explained, US securities law and US investment law is somewhat extrajudiciary. These securities law do affect everyone in the cryptocurrency community. So the Ethereum Foundation actually chimed in on this and explained that because they actually control less than 1% of the monetary supply and that they're not very centralized and they cannot issue new Ether, it's not a security. However, Gensler believes that because they did sell tokens before 2014, that this could be an issue, even though the coins are currently mined, which he believes makes them less of a security. If regulators clamp down on the two biggest altcoins in the cryptocurrency market, it could mean devastating news for short-term price action. It is our belief that there is a long-term bullishness regardless of regulation within the crypto sphere. However, this would be seriously detrimental news in the short term. And Goldman Sachs has apparently hired a lead cryptocurrency trader to lead their digital assets department. However, they are still denying that they're opening a trading desk. This is me being extremely shocked. Look, we all know the game here. It's deny, deny, deny while you're setting up paths for the future. For the banks, it's all about spreading FUD, collapsing the price of Bitcoin, spreading as much negativity about the emergence of blockchain technology as possible, meanwhile setting up as much as you can so that you're not left behind in this transitional phase in financial technology. The fact that they're denying and playing both sides of the fence doesn't surprise me. In fact, I'd probably do the same thing. It's we gotta move, but we can't show or validate this space too much, because if we do show or validate the space too much, then what's left is everybody knows that we're gonna be old news. So I understand this completely and totally, and again, just extremely bullish news for crypto. And Circle's OTC Trading, over-the-counter trading, has recently increased its minimums from $250,000 to $500,000 as it clears $100 million in trading. The Circle team leadership explained that the minimum ticket size has moved up to $500,000 with the average ticket size being $1 million. These are not small trades. These are huge trades. OTC trading is a way for sort of big whales to get involved and move large amounts of cryptocurrency without it necessarily directly affecting the market. That's because OTC sort of desks keep tons of cryptocurrency. They don't do these trades on the exchange. They do these trades off the exchange. They don't hit the books in the traditional way. So it's not like you see a buy order for $50 million hitting the exchange on Coinbase. Though those do happen, the OTC world is really meant to sort of curb the negative effects. OTC trading is where you're going to see so much money get in. We're not really in the bear market anymore. A lot of people really do believe we're out of the bear market, but if there's any great sign that we're out of a bear market, it's that lead OTC cryptocurrency trading desk. They're raising minimum tickets and they're clearing record revenues. This is a great sign. It shows that the smart money, the people with the most money, moving it off the books, not through your average retail exchanges, but big OTC trading, these players are getting really bullish. And you know when the biggest, smartest money gets bullish, that's the time that you should be swimming with the whales. That's how you do it. And formerly Ryblock's Nano has recently released a new version along with plans to integrate with Ledger hardware wallet. Obviously, this is good news for Nano, who's been rocked by the BitGrail hack and a ton of sort of FUD that's been spread around. Obviously, in the end, it seems like BitGrail has taken responsibility and tried to reissue the amount of money that needed to make whole the people who were robbed or hacked through their exchange, and they're going to be doing that through something called BGS, which is sort of, I guess, a placeholder token that's going to be paid out over time with revenues or profits from the BitGrail exchange. It's an interesting process, but hopefully they're able to repay the victims and get some justice out here, and BitGrail can truly make good on this. Again, good news for Nano and the Nano community, and again, we always love to see tech that keeps getting rolled out and pushed forward. And it's not all bad news for ICOs, as both Singapore and Hong Kong have proven to be great safe havens for these listings. Now, we can see this as part of the story of China's cryptocurrency ban really driving competition to other rival Asian regions. In Q1 of 2018 alone, ICOs raised over $6.3 billion, which surpasses all of 2017. Of course, $1.7 billion of that was from the Telegram ICO, which is literally the biggest ICO ever. I think it's even bigger than EOS at this point. But regardless, despite the rocky performance of cryptocurrency, the thirst for digital assets and new crypto projects and blockchain space innovation has not relented. And we can only be very excited about what the next few years have in store as we have billions of dollars in startup capital flowing around this very, very young industry. Obviously, Singapore has really embraced blockchain startups, and there's a lot less risk, I guess, of having regulators clamp down and hitting you with some undue regulatory practices like are happening, not necessarily undue, but there's definitely a lot of scrutiny happening in Japan and China, certainly in America. Essentially, all you have to do to register an ICO in Singapore is essentially register a business there, then hire a lawyer to sort of carry out the nuts and bolts of the ICO offering. It does cost upwards of $200,000, but if you're raising several tens of millions in an ICO, it really should be part of the sort of setup cost of your business. And to be honest, this is very promising, having regions where it's even possible to really launch cryptocurrency projects with some protection, some backing from the government. That is critical, and we don't see that going away. Even if all the big sort of G20 sort of nations ban crypto and ban ICOs, I see plenty of countries like Singapore and other ones stepping up and really filling gaps, providing havens and providing much needed resources for small blockchain projects. And I just wanted to clarify this because we got some questions on yesterday's video. The key is partnering with Ontology. The key is partnering with the Chinese government. And I wanted to clarify because they put out this AMA, this sort of Medium post here today, where they go and explain why they're different than the government projects. They also explain how exactly they're going to be using Ontology and why their process actually requires two different databases, one that's handled through The Key and one that's handled through Ontology. So we're going to go through that right now. So essentially what makes The Key so interesting is they have BDMI, blockchain-based dynamic multi-dimensional identity. Identifying someone and making sure you are who you say you are has so many uses in our society and really happens at all these different institutions. For example, if there's a police department that's doing ID verification and their job is to chase after criminals, well, they're only going to chase after criminals. They're not just going to start doing pension payments, for example, with this technology. But you can see how The Key is really trying to do much more than just government uses. So what they're trying to explain here is that they're just working on fundamentally different uses of ID verification. And they do clarify they're the only ones using BDMI. And here's where they talk about why they're going to be working intimately with Ontology and how you can't really separate or decouple these projects. As indicated from the white paper, in order to complete the IDV process, two databases are required, namely the individual database, The Key, ID data, health records, driving license, diploma degree, fertility data, and supporting data, Ontology, right? So this is supporting data is Ontology, individual database is The Key. And you see how they're going to work together. And Ontology's databases are much more expansive, right? Fact database, knowledge database, policy database, products, services. They're touching all these other types of information that isn't really my information. This is other surrounding surrounding data that works in conjunction with my personal information to deliver high quality services. So you can see how there are two sort of separations of this, but the key has their part, and then they sync in with ontology to get the rest of the information they need, and they work synergistically. They do not compete for services. Exciting stuff. Their mainnet is queued up for December 2018, and obviously that would mean that the key is starting to roll out for some seriously critical services, like we were explaining with the pensions identification, the pensions payments for the elderly in the certain regions of China. That's just one example of a very critical resource. They're not going to just be limited to healthcare or pensions payments, but they're going to be doing a lot of ID verification for insurance, social security, credit cards, retirement pensions. There is a very wide array of use cases for the key, and it's a very, very, very cool project, especially given how integrally it's going to be working with ontology, which I couldn't be more bullish about. I see these two projects as just sleeping giants. And because we love to end things on a little bit of a lighter note, I wanted to show you this sort of GIF representation of Stellar Lumen's decentralized exchange because it really is so simple. I love Stellar's branding. I really love how they try to just make it so simple to understand. They also show how all of the transactions are on ledger, not off ledger, and how centralized exchanges are off ledger, so they're prone to errors, whereas decentralized exchanges like Stellar are blockchain secured. So the results are definitely higher quality and more reliable. We never ever have to take our coins out of our own possession, our own wallets, and we can have directly on the ledger a settlement, a swap. This looks like it's going to be one of the highest functioning decentralized exchanges in the game, and DEXs, believe you me, will be one of the critical foundations for the future of cryptocurrency. Look at Stellar Lumen's fees compared to its competitors. It's literally, for the same transaction, a centralized server would charge you 25 cents, Ethereum is 24 cents, and Stellar Lumen is 0.0000004 cents or something like that. Stellar Lumen's extremely cheap. It's almost comically cheap to use. Obviously, Ethereum takes up to 3 minutes to do transactions. Stellar's 3 to 5 seconds. I personally have demoed tons of Stellar transactions. I find it's the fastest resolution of most any blockchain I've tried, and that includes Ripple. I just wanted to show you guys this lovely GIF representation of what I think is going to be one of the most disruptive technologies in all of cryptocurrency. Leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of this review. I always love hearing from you guys. You know that. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. We do videos each and every day, and we try to bring you the highest quality information in the cryptocurrency space with a little bit of entertainment. I'm Elio Trades. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll catch you very soon on the next episode.